How can you help transform your kids' writing? I'm going to give you some very easy to implement homeschooling solutions in this video, so stay tuned. Hi there, my name is Karen, and if you're new here, welcome. I like to help families achieve sustainable but also enjoyable homeschooling. Enjoyable for the student, enjoyable for the parent, because I know it could be a bit challenging being the parent and also being the teacher. I know when it comes to writing in particular, if English is not your first language, you could be a little insecure as to providing direction when it comes to grammar and spelling. We're going to talk about all of that in this video. Now, this video, the idea for it came from a blog post from one of the brands that I love, which is the Night Zookeeper. All my kids use this software. I'm going to talk about it more later on in the video, but they have this great blog post on ways to help your kids love writing. And I think that is the number one key to transform their writing, is for them to enjoy it, for them to actually like it. If I've learned anything over the years, is that your thoughts towards something really do affect your behavior, your feelings, first of all, towards that, and then that impacts your behavior. So if a student just is really struggling and hates writing, it's going to make them feel bad, these bad feelings and thoughts, and that's going to trickle down into their writing assignments. There's going to be a lot of pushback and resistance. So if you can just help them to enjoy the process, view it in a different way, then you'll see those results. A lot of the things we're going to talk about, these tips, think of it as compound interest, where I think a lot of homeschooling parents want instant solutions. Maybe the go-to is just buy another box curriculum, change things completely. But I really want to encourage you to kind of let go of that perfectionist mindset, like this is where they need to be, and instead just focus on the process of where are they right now and how can I help them improve. And these tips are sort of like compound interest. They might not seem like much right at the beginning, but you will see as the years go by, as the time goes by, that it makes a huge impact in their writing. So we're going to jump right into it. Number one tip from this post is read as much as possible independently and as a family. So I've always talked about reading aloud. It's, I think, a must. If you have no other time during the day, at least right before bedtime, read aloud. That, even if they're not doing the reading, but they're hearing you model the language, you get to talk about what do you think is going to happen next, and you talk about tension and resolution and the characters. Now, if it's new to you, this process of reading aloud, I do have a book recommendation. I have it here somewhere. This is my favorite book, my favorite resource on it. It's called Reading Magic by Mem Fox. Why reading aloud to our children will change their lives forever. Reading and writing are so tightly woven together. And this is going to convince you of it, and it's going to encourage you, as well as give you practical tips when it comes to reading aloud. Kind of how to scan ahead of time the characters, if you're going to change voices, the speed, everything like this. It really goes in deep with that. And so this is one of my favorite books. And along with you reading out loud to them, whether in a group setting or one-on-one, of course, encourage independent reading. And not just for academic purposes, like maybe you have a book list that you're following or textbooks or whatever you're doing, but just also encouraging and setting time for independent reading, books that you approve of, that you let them choose. When you pick something that you're naturally interested in, of course, you're going to enjoy reading it more than something that you're forced to. I think, there's a place for both. We need to have that self-discipline to just sometimes read something for the sake of learning, but there's also great benefit to reading for enjoyment and you picking out what you want to read. You'll be more interested in it. So all my kids have their academic books as well as their reading for fun books, and I allow time for both of them in the school day. Now, when it comes to being a better speller, one of the best ways to be a better speller is to read more. Why? Because when you're spelling something, you're simply recalling a word in your memory that you've already seen or been exposed to. And so that's why the words that you see so often are easier to spell. The more words you're exposed to, the more that you read, the easier it will be to retain and recall that information. So reading helps with spelling. Reading also helps with grammar because they're seeing it, of course, being modeled. And of course, it's also going to give them inspiration for their own writing as well. Number 2 is to use creative writing prompts to give them new ideas. So I like these books from Barnes & Noble. This one is pretty worn out, as you can see. This one's a writer's ear, writing ideas, Mommy and Me books that you kind of go back and forth. That's a great way to get them to start writing. Night Zookeeper has a lot of great prompts for kids as well. And I even showed you how you can use ChatGPT to come up with some really cool customized prompts as well according to their interests. Hands down, one of my favorite things about the way that we homeschool is that we just let them write about whatever they want most days. Some days are doing maybe a book report or something else, but by and large, when it comes to the free writing, they get to write about whatever they want. It really shows me what's in their heart, what their mind is on. It has helped me to deal with any kind of parenting issue very early on because they kind of use it as another way to communicate with you, and also just getting to know them sharing their world and their interests. So I think that's one of the best things you can do is just let them write about whatever they want. And of course, you can give them feedback on the writing and help them improve. But that alone just has so many benefits. Another great tip from this list is make writing a part of your life. Now, just like with reading, I say if you model reading, if they see you reading, they'll be more excited for it. Same thing with writing. If they see you journaling, even if it's maybe digitally on an iPad or in a notebook, whatever it may be, that's also going to inspire them to keep a notebook or do the same thing. Now, some of the ways that I like to incorporate this in the kids' lives is family journals. So I have a couple here. And every morning for Monday, the writing assignment is to write in the family journal. Just talk about the previous week, talk about the weekend. And I know that this is something that we're all going to cherish as they get older, having these they're like little time capsules, right? They'll take you back to that week, things that you forgot. Something else that we do is this read aloud family journal. So every time I finish reading aloud our evening read aloud book, they all fill out an entry here. And so it's really funny to see how different the same book and same kids in the same family will just have wildly different opinions. So it's really fun to read. And again, just having it as a keepsake. Or there's also things like this, Our Family, a fill-in book of traditions and memories. And so maybe you have holiday traditions, they can write about it, but it's just making it part of their daily lives. I also encourage them to keep their own journals. And so maybe one day every couple weeks, I'll just say the writing for that day is to just write in their journal. And I'm not going to correct that one. That's the only one I'm not going to correct. But again, it's just that love of writing that it just really helps out. Another great tip, and that I've heard from other people as well from this blog, is to also have positive encouragement. Don't just give negative feedback and write red all over the paper, but also make sure that you're telling them like, hey, I really like this idea, or I really like how long this was. You wrote a lot for this assignment, or whatever. Find something to just give them that positive feedback and encouragement. I know for me, my other side job here is being a professional writer. And there's always, even as an adult, when you give that writing assignment, that something that you've produced to somebody else, there's always that little bit of what's going to be the feedback. And you have to kind of learn that this is not me. This is just something that I've produced. This is something that I've written. I don't have to take it personal. So teach your kids that as well. But it's always nice when you get that, yes, I have some questions, or maybe work on this, change this, tweak this title could be better. But it's also great to just have that, hey, great work, I like the flow of this, whatever it may be. So kids especially are the same way. When they give you that assignment, make sure that you always give them that positive feedback too. And last but not least is to give gamification a try. Now, the people at Night Zookeeper have really done a brilliant job at this, where they've taken writing and they've turned it into that sort of game where you're trying to level up and beat and get new skills and badges and avatars. I mean, it's just fun, and all my kids love it. Especially what I love about it is that they get feedback from somebody else. It's not just me telling them about the missed punctuation or capitalization or whatever it may be. They're also getting it now from another adult. And they do a great job of giving that feedback as well. So if you're a parent that maybe English isn't your first language, or if you are a parent that's looking for some kind of writing that they can do independently on their own, and you can kind of have a record of it and somebody else provide that feedback, then Night Zookeeper is perfect for you. Now, we've been using Night Zookeeper for quite a while now. I can't imagine not using this tool. The way we use it is every Wednesday and sometimes on Saturdays as well. So they still do their own academic and formal writing and different things like that. But every Wednesday, at least, they get to just have really a lot of fun with writing, and on the weekends as well. I love seeing the characters that they create and the stories and how they answer prompts. And also I love seeing the feedback that they're getting. And while the levels can be customized to each student, like me, if you have a lot of students, they can each have their own profile and the levels can be adjusted. And it really just gives them an opportunity, again, to do this independently. Anytime, like I'm talking to parents about making homeschooling sustainable, the key, I think, is to look for those opportunities where they are self-teaching, where they can do it independently, when maybe there's somebody else giving that feedback in real time, and this checks off all those boxes. Now, fortunately, I am partnering with them in this video, so I have a great code to share with you where you can try the program for free for the first 7 days and then get 50% off the annual subscription. That is such a great deal. I'm going to leave the link down below. I hope that you'll check it out and see how it can really be a fun, all-in-one kind of independent way that they can improve their writing skills and alleviate some of that pressure off of you, as well as incorporating some of these other tips in this video. Thank you so much to Night Zookeeper for partnering with me in this video, and I hope you'll check them out with that code down below. All right, now I think you would really like this video, but YouTube's algorithm thinks you would like this video instead. So whichever one you choose, I will see you there. Bye for now.